We had a couple
never
on
renege.
Sailing La Vagabond.
Renege.
They were good on the show, actually. The husband fit right in and rolled with the punches. The wife, who's very nice, like a dime too, horrified the whole time by every inappropriate joke and
social justice warrior, defending rapist kind of lady.
yeah,
That's what they're known for doing.
Kyle,
Defending rapists,
rape is
right?
part of their culture.
Yeah.
Would you open your mind
She's
a
like,
little
yeah,
bit?
we was on this island and all these rapists was hissing at me, and it's part of their culture. It is.
All these
It
fucking
is.
rapists.
Yeah, they want a bit of rape. Who doesn't?
So, where are the worst locals of anywhere you've met? Like the most unpleasant people. Like even if the place they live is great, the people themselves, where to avoid?
I think I can't really.
Elena, why don't you take this?
No. I can't really name a place right now, but what I'm about to say will probably help me lead to my own answer. The places where people sort of disrespect you is where you don't know their language, you know, and you sailing, you go from country to country, people speak different languages, you can't be expected to know every single language, so they just sort of look down on you for not being able to speak the language. We do a lot of charades, so I've found that those countries, which I can understand.
That's like every country we've ever been. Bite the bullet and tell them a place that you didn't like the people.
Say
Even
it.
if it's America.
It wouldn't be,
I
though.
would probably say, you know what? I loved Cape Verde. It's a bunch of islands off Africa. It's very isolated, very different from anything I've ever experienced before. It's a very new sort of culture. As a girl, I found it very uncomfortable walking around by myself. The men were very aggressive with how they approached you. I'd been followed around by men when Riley wasn't with me.
I don't know if you've been to either Portugal or I think Argentina and Brazil do it as well. They've got this thing where they hiss. So if they, and this is how, like, it's a cultural thing and that's cool, but it doesn't really, when they're doing it to foreigners, it's really...
They hiss at you like...
It's very abrasive when you hit like it.
Black mode.
Oh, do you mind if I just
And at first I was like, is this,
what is
that noise?
happening
And
here?
I realized it was coming from these men's
So
mouths.
what does the hiss indicate? Like, I'm down if you are? Or like...
Yeah, it's the equivalent of honking a horn or something in Western.
But
That's what they
don't
do
just
because
do
they
it
don't
like-
have cars. Not very receptive girls to catcalling. What is that? Is it a bug?
So yeah, I found that very uncomfortable, and it's a place, well, certain islands in Cape Verde I will not go back to, the ones that were more built up, and it's sort of like they're sort of confused, like there's the American influence, like they've got the music, they've got the...
My question for you is why you're so kind about this. You're like, it's a very lovely place. A little rapey, but otherwise nice.
Because I try and see it from their perspective, like I'm a white girl in their country. They don't see tourists very often. It's not a place that many people go to. Like there's not regular flights going in and out. It's more.
Let me stop you there.
Do you think?
If a green person showed up nearby me, I wouldn't be like, I don't see a lot of green people.
I want some green pussy. Come on.
right. Like I wouldn't just get rapey because there was somebody new to me.
Come on, break off some of that green pussy.
I don't know.
No, because where they are in their culture, a girl would turn around and maybe hiss back, and
I'd like to think she'd growl.
That's how they propagate.
I'd like to think she'd take the dog roll, like a grrr, and just cut that short. No,
It's awful. I hate this. I hate that. Why are you giving them that benefit of the doubt? Fuck them. They shouldn't be hissing at you. Because like you said, if they came to your country, if a beautiful woman from their country came and walked down an Australian beach, there wouldn't be a bunch of Aussies hissing at them. They wouldn't be over there slamming Fosters and hissing at the brown chick. That wouldn't happen because you're decent people.
Okay, but that might be to do with the level of education that they're lacking. It could be to do with a whole bunch of different reasons, which,
Wow, still apologizing for the rapey
No one's
culture over there.
not the rapist yet.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. It's very.
no one
fucked
raped
up.
anyone. No one got
fucked up.
raped.
Like I hate it, and I don't know.
You should hate
I
it.
still can't hate these
That's a
particular
shitty
people.
thing
I
to
can't
do to
hate-
someone.
No, but you can't travel. You can't travel into those countries and expect for things like that not to happen. And if you're going to get upset every time it does, then you shouldn't travel.
I went to
Yeah.
Puerto Rico, and every step of the way, I felt like they were trying to rip me off. Constantly, just nonstop, like, rip me off. You know, they'd be like, all right, you know, there's 4 of you, and we normally charge $2 a person, but we'll just, you know, group package 10. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I can't do 4 times 2? Like, every step of the way, they were just, a lot of times it was math mistakes. Sometimes it was, I don't know, just.
Yeah, they do take advantage of you.
They just every step of the way. And I still, and then, so I went there for this. I was a collegiate swimmer, and we would walk to the pools. And I swear, if the girls weren't with all the guys, they'd be in real danger. Like the guys were like hanging out of their cars and honking and slowing down at like when they shouldn't be, you know.
And on the whole education thing, my friend Jeremy, who can barely read and write, would treat you like a complete gentleman if he met you for the first time. I guarantee it. There's no one I know who's less educated.
You mean he wouldn't throw in even one rape hiss?
No hisses? No hiss? He would be a complete gentleman. It's definitely a
I
cultural
don't hiss
thing.
at women I'm unfamiliar with. Oh,
Look, sometimes there are cultures. Sometimes there are cultures of assholes, and I mean, nobody has a problem saying the French are assholes because they're white. Nobody has a problem saying the French Canadians are assholes because they're white. But every time some brown people maybe do something that we're not comfortable with, we're like, oh, there's poor impoverished guys. Fuck, if only they had more, they would know not to do this to us.
When you describe it like that,
No more white guilt for me. I'm done with it. I'm done with it.
So
I don't
do you
like
think if you gave them more money, they would just be Saudi Arabia? You know, attacking and using better weapons?
You just took it down an avenue I wasn't prepared for.
Here we go.
I'm going to stand on what I said, and I'm going to let you go now.
No, not walking down. Little training camps.
I stepped out as far to the ledge as I care to go at this moment.
Sissy.
No, I want to see this hill that you're both dying on. Keep going.
I just don't like that. I don't like apologizing for rude behavior of others. I don't like rude behavior.
No, you're right. It's condescending too, because then it's like, oh no, he didn't know what he was doing. Like he's, we're people. Like
meanwhile, those guys are back there.
they're
Like,
not
you see that
like
man? I
on a
fucking
level.
hissed at her. I gave her that, and they're like, yeah,
But
man,
you know
you got
what?
her good.
You guys have, I don't know, each of you, if you have done this yourselves, but you guys have been out of the country, you've experienced different cultures, and you know the difference between yours and another country. These people have never left the island they've lived on their whole lives. They don't know any different. They barely have TVs, They don't have a
went to
radio.
Florida one
Their
time.
music that they listen to is like from the So Fresh CD of freaking 1990. I wasn't even born in 1990, but it's very old shit. They're so far behind, and
Rape was
I
not
just can't
okay in
expect them to
1990
know.
either.
No.
If they're jamming out to some 1890, I think it's a Bach, then I could get on board. But no, like just because they're jamming to Vanilla Ice doesn't excuse their actions.
No, but all they did was hiss, and we found it offensive. But they
I
may or
found
may not have considered it offensive when they were doing it. I'm sure that some of them did, and they may have taken it out of control.
There's also
Maybe I should
alcohol
ask.
abuse. There's a lot of different things going on. They're not.
There's a whole group of dudes called the groggers. There's this thing there called grog,
It's alcohol. It's made of sugar cane.
just-
It's brutal.
honestly, I've been to a few places and they're like, have the alcohol here, you'll have 2 shots and you'll be passing out. You have 2 shots of this stuff and you are spastic.
We do not remember a thing.
We were
after
driving
3
the
drinks.
tender home and going around in circles, and we jumped on this other French dude's boat and he was naked, and then we jumped off again, and then we went to this other place and there was
Anyway, the alcohol there is it's just
For
the
real.
most.
It's the good stuff.
It's like
Potent.
toxic.
Hey,
And
there's something
groups
else
of
in
men
there.
who-
yeah, maybe there is.
We have a bottle of it on board, but I don't think we're going to open it.
We're
so-
too scared
Definitely
to
a
open
level
it.
top
Yeah,
situation.
save that for a special occasion.
Either subscribe, donate, or get the fuck out.
That's right, fat boy.
Really,
They hiss at you like.
yeah,